Okay, we are going to check if this equation is a solution to this differential equation. And this is technically a differential equation because we have a derivative, right? And the equation has a derivative that is a differential equation. Anyways, right here, to get the derivative of this equation, the y is not isolated, but what can we do? We can just use implicit differentiation, right? So it's okay, we can still do it, and let's get to work. Let me put down d dx all the way in the front to show that we are going to differentiate this equation with respect to x. So let's get to work. First, the derivative of e to the xy, the derivative e to the something, is first, you repeat that, it's just e to the xy, right? And the chain rule says we have to multiply by the derivative of the inside. So I'll put this down in red. This is x times y. It's a product of two functions. The product rule says we have to keep the first function, and we multiply by the derivative second. The derivative y is just dy dx, okay? And then we are going to add the second function, which is y, and we multiply by the derivative first. Derivative of x with respect to x is just 1, okay? So this is just y times 1, like this, okay? And next, we add it with, we have the derivative y is just dy dx, okay? Derivative y is dy dx, and then we will have this is equal to x, we take the derivative of that, it's just 1, and then negative 1, we get 0, and this is what we have. And now you see, we have the dy dx right here, right? Our goal now is to just isolate the dy dx, and hopefully that expression will be the same as the given one right here. Well, let's do the usual business. Here we have something in front of the parentheses, so we'll take this and distribute it into the parentheses, right? For the first part, we'll write this down as x, e to the xy, and then we have the dy dx, okay? And then we will do this times that, so we add it with, let me put the y first, and we have the e to the xy, and then this is the dy dx, and then we have this equals to 1. Okay, here is the usual deal. We have this expression now, and you have the dy dx here and the dy dx here, right? But then I don't have the dy dx here. I'm going to move this to the right-hand side. In the meantime, I'm also going to keep both of this right here on the left-hand side and also factor out the dy dx. And to factor out the dy dx, when you're doing differential equations, well, things like this. Put down the things, put down the dy dx at the end, because otherwise it seems like you have to differentiate again, right? So don't do that. Put down the dy dx at the end. So let's do this carefully. I will open a parentheses. This right here has the dy dx, and this is going to be the leftover after you factor this out, right? Let me put this down first. X e to the xy, and this also has the dy dx, and this is technically a 1, so it's a plus 1, okay? And I will put down the dy dx at the end. Once again, write it down at the end. If you put it in the front, it seems like you have to differentiate again, right? So don't do that. This, I think, is more clear. Anyways, this is equal to, the 1 is still on the right-hand side, and I'm going to bring this to the right-hand side as well, so it becomes minus y e to the xy. And now I can just divide both sides by that, isn't it? So as you can see, we will have dy dx equals to this, which is 1 over y, 1 minus y e to the xy over that. And since it has the 1, let me put down the 1 right here first, okay? 1, and then we add it with x e to the xy. This is what we have, but this is what they give us. What can we do? You see, they have negative xy for the power. Well, this is e to the positive xy. Let me just look at all this. I will divide everything by e to the xy. So that way I can just get a minus y plus x right here. Okay? So right here, I will divide everything by e to the xy. I'll put it here, divide this by e to the xy. I'll divide the 1 by e to the xy. And I'll divide this by e to the xy. And you will see that, let me just put this down legitimately. This is equal to 1 over this. I can use negative power for that. It is e to the negative xy power. And then for the second term on the top, it's just minus y because they cancel out. So we have minus y over, this once again is the negative power, and we have plus x. This is it. We are done.